Welcome back to Building Better Relationships in Construction, based off the groundbreaking book, Building Better Relationships, a guide to enhancing the customer experience for home builders, remodelers, and construction managers, by author Paul Schwinghammer. I'm Alex, and as always, I'm here with Sabrina.
Hello, everyone. So glad you could join us for episode 5. Today, Alex, we are tackling a huge topic, one that can make or break a project. Our relationships with our subcontractors.
The unsung heroes of the job site, really. When things are good, they're great. But when they go bad, it can get ugly fast.
It really can. And so much of it comes down to simple communication. We're going to be pulling a lot of our inspiration today from Paul Schwinghammer's fantastic book. He introduces this concept that I just love.
Which concept is that?
He calls it the relationship bank account. With every single interaction you have with a sub, you're either making a deposit or you're making a withdrawal. And it's not just for customers. This concept applies to all relationships. And in this case, a key partner in the construction business, the subcontractors.
That's a great way to put it. And as we've been discussing, the relationship bank account concept is the backbone of his book. In this case, a simple thank you to the subcontractor, having the site ready for them. Those are deposits, surprising them with a change. Not having materials ready, those are withdrawals.
Exactly. And if your account is empty, or worse, overdrawn, good luck getting them to help you out when you're in a pinch. So today, we're focusing on how to make consistent, meaningful deposits.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Let's start with a story. One that Paul shares in the book that perfectly illustrates a massive and totally avoidable withdrawal. Okay, so picture a busy job site. You've got a framing crew working hard to button up the exterior, and they're working on a high, tricky peak on the second story.
Right, a classic scenario.
The site supervisor comes by and notices a problem. The framer's ladder isn't quite tall enough to let him safely reach the very top of the peak. It's a safety issue, and it's holding up progress.
Okay, and the super's job is to solve problems and keep the train moving.
Precisely. So he has an idea. He knows the vinyl siding contractor is scheduled to be on site later, and that crew has massive ladders. So he gives the siding guy a call, asks him to bring an extra long ladder, and the siding guy says, "Sure, no problem."
Okay, so far, so good. It seems like proactive management.
It seems like it. The ladder arrives, the framer is able to finish his work safely, and the project moves forward. Problem solved, right?
I have a feeling there's a but coming.
There is. A few weeks later, the invoice from the siding contractor comes in, and on it is a $150 charge for the special ladder delivery and rental.
Which seems fair. After all, he did a service, he should be paid for it.
Totally fair. But here's the withdrawal. The project manager, without a word, simply backcharges that $150 to the framer. The very first time the framer learns about this cost is when he sees it deducted from his payment.
Ouch. Yeah, that's not good. I can just feel the anger and resentment building up.
Of course. Think about it from his perspective. He's probably thinking, wait, what is this? Nobody asked me about this. I never agreed to this charge. He feels completely blindsided and disrespected.
And the $150 probably isn't even the main issue. It's the principle of it, the lack of communication. It sends a message that you don't see him as a partner, you just see him as someone you can push costs onto.
It's a huge withdrawal. The trust is instantly eroded. So the next time the builder needs a small favor or asks the framer to go the extra mile, what do you think his answer is going to be?
It's going to be a hard no. Or, sure, what's the change order number? There's no goodwill left in that bank account. So let's hit rewind on that entire situation. How do we turn that massive withdrawal into a deposit? And it's so much simpler than people think.
This is the brilliant part of Paul Schwinghammer's approach. It's about being proactive, not reactive. So the supervisor sees the ladder is too short. He still has the same idea to call the siding contractor, but before he does anything, he walks over to the framer.
Or just picks up the phone. A 1-minute call.
Right. And he says something like this. Hey, Jason, I noticed your ladder isn't tall enough for that section, and I want to make sure you can work safely and efficiently.
Okay, so he's framing it as a point of support and safety. I like that.
Yes. Then he presents the solution. I've arranged for the siding contractor to bring out a longer ladder, which will cost around $150. Transparency. No hidden costs.
Laying the cards on the table.
And then, and this is the most critical part, he doesn't just tell him. He asks. He says, I wanted to check with you first. Are you okay with us proceeding this way and deducting the $150 from your next progress payment, or do you have another idea?
That's the whole thing, right there. That last phrase changes everything. It turns a directive into a collaboration.
It completely does, because you're giving the framer a choice. You're respecting his intelligence and his business. Maybe 9 times out of 10, Jason the framer says, wow, thanks so much for setting that up. That's a huge help, go ahead. And now he's happy to pay the cost because he agreed to it.
Or maybe that 10th time he says, you know what? Hold on. My partner is on another site 10 minutes away with a bigger ladder. Let me just call him and have him run it over. That will save me the money.
Either outcome is a win. In both scenarios, the problem gets solved, and Jason feels respected. He feels like a valued partner. That is a massive deposit into the relationship bank account, and it all happened because of a proactive 60-second conversation.
This latter story is the perfect jumping-off point for some broader practical tips that we can all use to keep those relationship accounts full. Let's run through a few. The first one seems obvious, but it's the root of so many problems. Set expectations up front.
Oh, 100%. This is about your pre-construction meetings, your contracts, your scope of work documents. Is everything crystal clear? Does the electrician know exactly where every outlet goes? Does the painter know the exact sheen for every room?
Right. And it's also about setting communication expectations. Who's the point of contact? How will change orders be handled and approved? If you hash all of that out before a single hammer swings, you eliminate so much potential conflict.
An ounce of prevention. The second tip is what we just demonstrated. Inform before acting. This is the golden rule. If you are about to make a decision that impacts a sub's time, money, or materials, just talk to them first.
No surprises. I think if every site super had no surprises written on their hard hat, the entire industry would be a better place.
I completely agree. Okay, number 3, listen actively. Communication isn't just broadcasting information, it's a two-way street. When your plumber tells you he's concerned that the new framing will make his rough-in difficult, don't just nod and walk away.
Totally. Stop, look at the issue with him. Ask questions. Show me what you mean. What's your suggestion? These guys are the experts in their trade. They see things you don't. Ignoring their input is not only disrespectful, it's just bad business. You could be ignoring a solution to a problem you don't even know you have yet.
That's a great point. Okay, tip number 4, and this one is for everyone's protection. Document changes and agreements.
The classic get it in writing.
Exactly. After you have a conversation on site, send a quick follow-up email or text. Hey Maria, just confirming you're good with us shifting that wall 6 inches. Please confirm. It's not about mistrust, it's about clarity. It creates a paper trail that protects both of you and prevents he said, she said arguments later.
It just eliminates any ambiguity. And that brings us to the last tip, number 5, which might be the most important for maintaining that bank account balance. Follow through.
Yes, if you tell your drywall crew that the site will be swept, warm, and ready for them to start at 7 a.m. on Monday.
It better be swept, warm, and ready at 6:55 a.m. on Monday.
Of course, your word has to be your bond. Every time you deliver on a promise, no matter how small, you're making a deposit. Every time you fail to, you're making a withdrawal, and you're damaging your reputation not just with that sub, but with every other sub they talk to.
That's so true. The construction community is small. A reputation for being unreliable spreads like wildfire.
So, as we wrap up, it all comes back to that central idea. Every interaction is a chance to build up or tear down your relationships. By setting clear expectations, informing before you act, listening, documenting, and following through. You're not just being a good project manager.
You're being a smart business person. You're building a team of loyal partners who want to do their best work for you. That proactive, respectful communication, it prevents fires instead of just constantly putting them out. In the long run, it leads to higher quality work, smoother projects, and frankly, a lot less stress for everyone involved.
It all connects. And for anyone who wants a much deeper dive into these strategies and how they apply to customers and your own team as well, we really can't recommend Paul's book highly enough.
Absolutely. Remember, you can purchase your copy of the groundbreaking book, Building Better Relationships, a guide to enhancing the customer experience for home builders, remodelers, and construction managers by author Paul Schwinghammer on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in multiple formats.
It's an invaluable resource filled with practical, real-world advice, just like what we talked about today.
Well, that is all the time we have for this episode of Building Better Relationships in Construction. Be sure to join us again for episode 6 entitled The Power of Overcommunicating What Is. Thanks so much for tuning in.
We'll see you on the next one. Take care.